Hello pilots and welcome back to another X-Wing flight video brought to you by Out of Art Gaming. As always, my name is Phil and today we have Game 5 of the Commentary Wars, and providing some commentary with me today I have...
Hi guys, I'm Amy, it's great to be back.
Hey Amy, welcome back to the channel. Got another game for you to watch. And look, I brought TIE Phantoms because you said you've hardly ever seen them or flown them, so I thought I'd bring those to the table and get you on so you can see what you're missing out on.
Yes, I mean, this is definitely going to be like my own personal... You're basically private tutoring me in how to use a TIE Phantom. Like, it was one of the first ships I bought with Taiwan, with version 1, and yeah, I've never flown it. It's just sat there getting really dusty in my case.
Well, hopefully I can provide some insights into how to fly them. It all depends on if Fergus is going to play ball with us on that one. But yeah, what we'll do then, if we go, I'll go through my list, and then you can go through Fergus's list. So
yep.
What we have on the left of the screen is an Empire list with Rampage in the TIE RB Heavy, with synced laser cannons, target assist MGK 300 and expert handling, and 3 Sigma Squadron Ace TIE Phantoms, all with Deadeye shot. Nice and simple, but hopefully quite effective.
Yeah, that was really good.
What's Fergus running for us then?
So Fergus has got 3 X-Wings and an A-Wing. So we have Wedge Antilles with R4 Astromech and Servo... Is it the Servomoto S foils? Yep. Luke Skywalker with Chopper, my favourite droid, again with the S foils and ion torpedoes. A Red Squadron veteran with the S foils and Selfless Talent, and Jake Farrell in the A-Wing. No upgrades on him. He's just there. He's chilling. He's there to cause some havoc where possible with the guys.
To be honest, an I4 A-Wing, he is pretty fantastic. Like, even without upgrades, he's got good utility. I know there's obviously a lot of new A-Wings for people to fly, but this game was recorded before we actually had Phoenix Cell come out. But it's hopefully going to be a really interesting game. I mean, first impressions on the lists, which one do you think is likely to have the upper hand, or which one do you like the look of the most?
Well, you know me, I'm a huge Empire fan. My inner Sith is saying, you know, back the TIE Brute and the 3 Phantoms. However, at the same time, I know those X-Wings are incredibly slippery to go after. And also they really do pack a punch as well. So I think my favourite, like my Empire side, is saying Empire. However, at the same time, it could be anybody's game. I'm really looking forward to seeing this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. X-Wings they can be quite tricky. They can be quite difficult to fly against because they've got a pretty good dial. They've got a lot of health, and obviously with the servo motors as well, they can be quite tricksy. And especially as you've got R4 Astromech there on Wedge, giving him even more blue maneuvers, that's going to make it quite interesting there. But I just got to try and hopefully pin one of them down and try and get rid of them as quickly as possible. But we've got quite an open space in the middle, both of us taking opposite corners there. So hoping to utilise the Phantom's decloaking to the best of its ability and get some good positioning on there. So again, as I said, you've not actually flown the Phantom, which I think we've said this a couple of times on the channel, absolutely blows my mind. For me, it's one of my favourite ships in the game. So when I hear that a fellow Empire player hasn't flown it, it always really confuses me.
I've just never had the chance. I mean, even when going down to the studio and, you know, just playing physically, I know it's difficult at the minute with COVID and lockdown. I've just not had a chance because I've got so many lists. It's just one of those lists and one of those ships I've not got round to playing with yet. And it's the same with the TIE RB Heavy. I've got the model, but I still haven't flown it yet. I've flown it on TTS a couple of times. But as for the Phantoms, yeah, it was the first or the second ship I ever bought, and yeah, it's still there, sat unloved.
I mean, you really do need to get it out on the table. There's so many cool little builds you can do. You can either go quite AC with Whisper. You've got Echo, who has just the crazy Echo. When he decloaks, instead of using the 2 straight template, he uses the 2 bank template. So some of the positionings you can get Echo in off the back of that are absolutely incredible. And even with these Sigma squadrons, they are quite expensive. They obviously bump the points up quite drastically with this and Duke, so you don't get that there. But the positionings you can get on there is really cool. And to be honest, I just think they're an amazing looking ship. They've got this like a really like advanced sort of TIE fighter feel to them.
They do look very scary. I mean, I especially like your painted ones as well, the one where it's half cloaked as well. It looks really damn cool.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the most commonly done paint schemes for the Phantom. I mean, it fits with the whole theme of the Phantom, and I've seen so many good ones online that I couldn't help myself. I have actually done all 3 of mine now, and I've got, I think, 3 dials to go, 2 or 3 dials to go with them as well. So they all have their own specific dial cover to go with them. But I've flown them quite a few times, and they are a very cool ship. But I mean, if we look at Fergus's side, he's got a pretty strong lineup there.
Oh.
Wedge Antilles in the X-Wing, I mean, well, we all know about Wedge with his ability to reduce you down by 1 agility, 1 green dice. It's horrible. At least he hasn't got outmaneuver on there, because that's just incredibly rude. But what I really like is the interaction that Luke has going. So did you want to quickly read through Chopper's card?
Yep, so Chopper is when you spend 1 non-recurring charge from another equipped upgrade, you can recover 1 shield, or you can spend 2 shields to recover 1 charge. So to me, that sounds as if it's going round and round, you know, recharging each other, which is quite nice.
Yeah. Well, what I like about this is that it's a cheaper version of R2 Astromech. I mean, yes, you've got to have non-recurring charges there. So I think Chopper's 2 points and the iron torpedoes are 4. So essentially for that combination there to work, that's 6 points. But it allows the recharge of that shield without actually having to take a disarm token, which is just crazy. And it's bad enough when you have a ship with R2 Astromech getting in there, taking some damage, flying off, recovering a shield, and then going back over half points, let alone when that ship doesn't need to fly off and can still shoot you and has 2 force. It's a really good combo that, when used right, can be quite frustrating for your opponent. So it's a scary one to come up against. And again, combine that with Wedge, you've got a lot of firepower there and a lot of abilities to chain some serious hurt on your enemy. But it looks like we're going for a middle of the table engagement there by the look of it. Possible little joust.
Yeah. I like that the Phantoms are all staying in formation as well.
It's definitely quite a common thing to try and keep those Phantoms in formation. It's something I like doing anyway, because you can utilise them and focus fire with them. Try and only break the formation when you actually have to, especially with the Deadeye shot on there, which is possibly one of my favourite 1-point upgrades. So while you perform a primary attack, if the defender is in your bullseye, you may spend 1 hit result or change 1 crit to a hit result. If you do, the defender exposes 1 of its damage cards. So when you've got them flying in a little formation like that, and you can try and focus fire down, hopefully you can try and activate that ability quite quickly. So I do like it. I think it's really cool.
I like that.
And plus, the way these guys decloak and move, it's quite easy. It's actually fairly easy to keep them in a formation. And then obviously I've got the TIE Heavy, which I think is just such a cool ship. And I was so glad when they brought it to the Empire. I think it's just so much fun to fly. It works quite well as like a support ship for them to, again, just pump out some more hurt.
Yeah, and it's got so much hull to chew through as well. It's like a smaller version of the TIE Punisher in a way.
Yeah. I mean, it does it's got... I think they both are great ships. And I think obviously the TIE Punisher is great if you want sort of like a big heavy missile boat or a bomber there. But with the TIE Brute, it gives you the cannon options, so you can just stick some cannons on there and have some real good fun. Like I've got synced laser cannons on there, which I think on this ship works really well because it allows you to have a 3-dice shot at range 1 through 3. So rather than just being stuck with your 2-dice shot, you can use your synced laser cannons. And especially if you're calculating it as well, the defender doesn't actually get to apply the range bonus at range 3. So if you've got that calculate, it stops them from getting that additional green dice. So it's just a really clever cannon to add on there. And I think this is my favourite build for the TIE RB at the moment. It's the one that every time I try and write a list with the TIE RB, and I always end up coming back to this build and going, yeah, I think I'll leave it like that. Because it's pretty much got access to, well, all of its actions are white due to the upgrade cards on there. So expert handling giving it the white barrel roll, and the target assist giving it the white rotate to calculate. So again, another really cool combination on there. So just seeing which way going to decloak. So we're having a little bit of fun with the decloak tokens on there. One of the tricky things with TTS sometimes, having to use all these different tokens to activate things like bombs and decloaking. Sometimes if they don't link up, it can be a pain. What I ended up having to do was just delete them every round. I was hoping to set the token and be able to just have it go with it, but I had to actually set it each round and then delete it each round because it almost was like a one-use thing, which was a bit frustrating.
Yeah, that's a bit pants.
And looks like we're going to keep going down that channel there. So for you, so if we were saying that you were flying the Empire side, who would be your first target of opportunity on Fergus's side? Who would you be looking to try and get rid of first?
I'm going to say Luke. Purely because of that chopper card and the fact that it's an X-Wing pilot with Force, and that to be no. I would want to get rid of that one pretty quickly. So I'd say definitely Luke first. Wedge is very, very close behind. I want to say Jake as well, but I think definitely those two named X-Wings, mainly Luke, I'll be wanting to focus fire down first.
Yeah. I mean, Luke is obviously being I5. He's automatically going to be a little bit scarier, but with the Force and his ability where when he becomes a defender, he regains a Force is, well, it's kind of frustrating because that Force does become quite handy. So I mean, he could spend one Force on his attack if he needed. Then as soon as you start shooting him, he then goes, "Okay, well I'll get that Force back then, please."
It's like the Rebel version of hate.
Yeah, but without actually having to take damage, which is quite good for him.
Yeah.
So it is quite handy. And it looks like, unfortunately, I've left yellow in a particularly awkward position there. Potentially. Oh, looks like I tried to double barrel roll. Let's just undo that. I think I was trying to reposition where the barrel roll was actually going. Obviously now with TTS, it actually gives you like a little marker to see it. But previously you could set it to do that, or you would just click it and hope that it went in the right place. So.
See, I had absolutely no idea that marker even existed until we started doing the combos. The first time it did it, I was in a game with somebody I'd met in a different server, and it came up. I was like, oh my god, where's my ship gone? I honestly thought I'd deleted it and that I'd done something really bad to it. And then I learned, obviously, during the combos, I was like, oh yeah, that's just a ship marker. It's fine. I didn't need to panic.
Yeah, I was mentioning this in the last video, that you can obviously mark the ships on TTS, which is good and interesting, because obviously in a normal IRL game, you mark the ships quite regularly to be able to complete maneuvers. But I was also there like, why would you need to mark a ship on TTS when you don't actually have to try and fiddle about with moving ships to place the maneuver templates down? It does it automatically. So it is a bit of an interesting one, but I like it when you go to do the barrel roll and it does sort of give you that outline of where it's going to end up, so you can sort of visualize it a little bit more. It is quite handy. And I do think that barrel roll back might actually be a bit more effective than I originally anticipated. And looks like we are looking for a target lock there, I believe. Yep. Go for that target lock on Jake. Still not overly... Looking back at this, I'm not overly happy with the position of those phantoms. I think they're a bit too far turned in. The barrel roll definitely helps, but it all depends on where Luke is going to end up, if that actually works out being an okay position, or if I've completely made a hash of things.
Yeah. I mean, I think sometimes, even if you make a mistake and it works out in your favour, it's good luck. I mean, I've definitely had that in a couple of my games where I've realised, oh my god, I've messed up there. And then it's actually worked out better. That, oh, it's okay, it's fine.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Unfortunately, the Rebel the one forward to victory there definitely wasn't quite what I was hoping for. Looks like it might be leaving green with a not favourable shot there. And elected to target lock yellow. Interesting. It looks like that's going to be very close as to whether that's...
Oh.
So looks like we're getting shots there.
That's a very close range one shot.
Yeah, I don't particularly like the look of that. I mean, the Phantoms are great, but they're also a bit glass candy, and that's actually Wedge there, not Luke, sorry. So I really don't like that, because it's only one evade. And that's a pretty good roll, actually.
Oh, yes.
So that's 3 hits and a crit, and I have 1 dice. So that's...
Oh.
Yeah, gonna have to spend that. But that's still going to be a crit going through on yellow, and that's definitely not what you want to see early on.
No.
And the crit is... I can't quite see it because it's actually hidden. I think that's a panicked pilot. So double stress on yellow there. That's actually really bad. That is definitely not what you want. The Phantoms definitely like to be able to have their actions. I mean, I know most ships do, but the Phantom specifically, because if they're stressed and they decloak, they don't actually get their evade token off the back of it, and they sort of live and die by their evade tokens, allowing them to cloak and reposition. And that again is another brutal shot there from Luke. And that's not a great roll.
Oh.
That would be a dead yellow.
Ouch.
I mean, I did mention a minute ago that they're glass cannons. Unfortunately, at the moment, all you're seeing is the glass part of that. So yeah, definitely put myself in a bit of a sticky situation there. And obviously, Fergus has the initiative as well, so that means Jake is also going to be able to fire before I get a chance to return some shots back at him. And looks like...
Is that range 3?
Looks like it's range 3 on red, but it might just be sneaking range 2 on yellow. We've got 2 dice pulled out, so I'm going to go with it being range 2 on... not yellow, green, sorry. So let's see what happens here. See if there's more pain coming my way early on. Nope, that's not too bad. So focus and a blank there with only an evade, so that worked out pretty good for me. So Type Brute is up next, going to be using its synced laser cannons and gaining calculates there for having enemies within arcs. So before you engage, if you have no green tokens and you are not stressed, gain 1 calculate token for each enemy ship at range 2 to 3 in your firing arc to a maximum of 2. So had at least 2 ships there, so getting 2 calculates. Pretty handy.
It's quite good.
Yeah. So I think definitely worth going in on Jake there, because I get my 3 dice and he doesn't get the additional evades, so... And I've got the target lock and 2 calculate, so hopefully should be able to get some damage in here. Definitely glad I've got that target lock. My dice don't seem to be doing very well for me so far. But 3 hits, it's not too bad. Yeah, unfortunately, with the evade token, that was nada. Probably should have shot a wedge there, to be honest, but let's see if green sneaks a shot in at Luke. Range 3.
Very close.
Very close. Only literally just catching him there. So I think the main downside here is not being able to focus fire. Ooh, 2 hits and a crit. I will take that.
That is a good roll.
And spending both focuses, both force even, to suffer just 1 shield. There we go. Fergus throwing it up in the air. And red also has a shot that way, or is he going to try and go for the closer target wedge there?
Ooh.
It's a really tough choice, actually. There's already some damage on Luke, so I'd go for the range 2 on wedge. The thing is, if you target Luke, he gets a force back for becoming the defender. Just the 1. He gets the force back for becoming the defender, and then if he doesn't need to spend it, he'd be back up to 2 force. So that wasn't too bad, actually. So a shield down on both on Luke and wedge there. So I mean, that was definitely a good turn for Fergus and less so for myself, I would say. would you all thinking here now then, Amy? What do you think you'd be looking to do? Bearing in mind, obviously, with the Phantoms, they're now cloned, so that does allow them to be able to either do a 2 barrel roll or a 2 boost. So it gives you a bit of extra positioning there.
I'd want to say just keep moving forward, because they have got that 2 boost or 2 barrel roll when they decloak. I'd say keep it a slower move forward, just to still try and keep them in arc.
And you've got K-turns on there. Although that gas cloud's in a little bit of an awkward position there for green.
Yes, definitely.
I think it's quite straightforward for Fergus there. He can just sort of keep coming in. I mean, he's still got the Red Squadron veteran at the back to bring up, but he could always potentially just move a bit slower with Luke and Wedge. I mean, Wedge is in an ideal position just to do like a 1 forward and then see where everything is and then react from there.
Yeah. I mean, the X-Wings have got the Talon rolls as well, so could maybe try and sneak behind.
I think Luke, yes. I don't think Wedge would be in a decent position to do that, but I'm not. It's a really tricky one. I don't think the Talon roll is quite. It's not what I would do. Put it that way. If it had like an S loop instead, I think an S loop would be so much better right now. I think the Talon roll, where you'll essentially, you're almost like putting the ship across and then 180ing it, is better if I was sort of ahead of him more. I think the S loop would be a better one, but they don't have that.
Yeah. Ooh.
So there's a decloak forward there from red and from green. So that's quite good because that could potentially be bumping Jake if he did decide to come in there, which could end up messing up Wedge and Luke. Be interesting.
So when you decloak, is it? Sorry, forgive me. I've never actually used decloak. So when you decloak, is it literally a case of 2 barrel roll or 2 boost without setting a dial?
Yeah. So you decloak before, so you still set your dial. So the decloak is done in the system phase. So think of it sort of like dropping a bomb, as it were. So you'll still set your dial so that you've got a maneuver after, but you do your decloak in the system phase, either 2 forward or 2 to the left or right. And with the TIE Phantoms, because they have the Stygium Array ship ability, after they decloak, they may perform an evade action. At the start of the end phase, you may spend 1 evade token to gain 1 cloak token. So you still set your dial. So as you can see, they've just done the K-turns there.
All right.
So they got into a great position, blocked Jake, have managed to K-turn. They've still got their evade tokens, which is quite nice. They are obviously stressed. Rampage has come in and just bumped. He's fine with that. He's a big brute. He doesn't mind. Yeah. And now, obviously, Jake bumped into the Phantoms because they were in a particularly awkward position for him, which I quite like. So he's now got no shot. Hopefully, that's going to impact Wedge and Luke as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And what we're seeing there as well on Luke gaining the strain token, that's actually Rampage's ability. So after you execute a speed 3 to 4 maneuver, now it doesn't say fully execute, so you don't actually have to complete the maneuver. But on Wedge, sorry, I keep saying Luke. Maybe because I keep thinking he should be red because he's red 5. So on Wedge, he's got a strain. So after you execute a speed 3 to 4 maneuver, you may choose a ship in your turret arc at range 0 to 1. That ship gains 1 strain token or 2 strain tokens if you are damaged. Not that it mattered because he did a cheeky K-turn over the top anyway. So it's almost like he read that Rampage was going to be there. So that actually is pretty good flying there from Fergus, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, especially range 1 as well.
Range 1 on Rampage. Rampage now has 0, yes, that's right, count them, 0 green dice because of Wedge's ability. So that's 4. Luckily, there's no way to modify that. But yeah, that's... I'm not liking the look of that because that could half point him. Fortunately, it's just 2 damage on Rampage, but it does mean that if he does a 3 to 4 and something's in range 0 to 1, they're going to get 2 strains now. But we've got Luke to shoot back. This is going to get painful for Rampage. He's got... Be interesting to see if that red squadron vet also has him in range, but I get an evade dice here. So let's see. Oh, does he? He spends the focus, so that's 3 hits. So regardless of what I roll, this is half points on Rampage. But you kind of expect that with a ship with 1 evade and no shields.
Yeah. Ouch.
I mean, one of the other players from the Imperator Squadron, Connor, who lent me his Fugitives and Collaborators pack to unbox, he actually has a Rampage where he put so many points into it. He actually used both the modification slots to give it a hull upgrade and a shield upgrade because he was like, well, why not?
Let's just make it even tankier than it already is.
Yeah. So we see that we're activating the target assist there. Hasn't really helped much, just 1 hit. And there's the obligatory 1 evade that Luke needs to say, no thank you. But we do now have 2 shots coming in from these Sigmas. Oh, decisions, range 1 on Luke or range 2 on Wedge with 1 less evade dice. Yeah, go for the less evade dice. Hopefully looking for some paint. Oh, that's not great.
Oh. The dice gods really aren't with you on this game, are they, at the minute?
No, but I mean, I managed to take down another shield on Wedge. It would have been handy to get a couple more hits in there when he only had 1 evade dice. But we've got green now to shoot, so also got range 2 on Wedge, range 2 on Luke and Jake. So going to try and focus fire Wedge down.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, Wedge is he's just more of. Why didn't I get that roll a second ago when he only had 1 evade dice? But
still a good roll.
Yeah, the dice gods are actually favouring me now there. So that's hit crit, 2 hits and a crit there. Oh, come on, go for direct. And it's the most pointless crit to have when you have 1 hole left. It's a fuel leak. I mean, I'll still take it. That's a lot of health, a lot of damage on Wedge. And he's worth a fair amount of points as well, so...
Yeah, you've half pointed it. That's it's got you some points on the board.
Yeah. Unfortunately, now we have the red squad, so does he focus in on Rampage? So his choices are 3v2 or 3v2.
Okay, so is he going to shoot at Rampage?
I mean, I wouldn't blame him if he did, but we'll never know. Oh no, he's got the target lock, so he's going at red there. So that's 2 hits. So I'm elected to spend the evade. Now, there are points where you might try and keep the evade on a Phantom so you can have the decloak, but with that Phantom being stressed, it almost makes no sense because you know that you're not going to get that evade off the back of the decloak. And looking at it, I actually quite like that positioning to slowly come back in without having to force myself to move 2 up the board. And there isn't a great spot for him to I don't even think he can decloak in there either. Green, on the other hand, he could definitely decloak and he could have a really good position.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, looking back at this, I think what I would do is decloak green, cloak green, and then decloak to ship right the other side of that gas cloud and come back around the side. That looks like it could be a good thing.
Yeah, quite sneaky as well to come around the side of a gas cloud. That'll be a nice surprise.
Yeah. But it looks like hindsight is 2020, and I decided not to cloak them so that I wasn't required to have to do the barrel roll, the decloak out. So, but still in a fairly good position there, and I mean they've got to do the 2 forward is one of their slower manoeuvres, unless they were to do a 1 bank, which 1 bank could be okay. It's an interesting one. If I want to remove that stress though, I've got to do a 2 forward or 2 bank. So not a bad turn for me there, actually. Obviously, I lost a lot of health on Rampage, which was a bit of a shame, but I've also done a lot of damage on Wedge, so...
Yeah, still a good outcome, really.
Yeah. It's quite clustered in the middle there, though. There's not a lot of room to manoeuvre those ships with all of those obstacles right there.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a bumpy round, I think, unless it's a case of both sides decide to do massively fast manoeuvres, 4Ks and whatnot to get out of each other's way and then re-engage on the next round.
Yeah, I mean, that would be quite a good thing to do. I mean, the X-Wings, they're probably okay in the middle of that. They're probably not so bothered by it, but for my Phantoms, I definitely want a bit more space to move them, and it's not a great place to be at the moment.
No.
So, I mean, if I was a droid player, I'd be like, yep, this is great. I like where I am. There's plenty of parking spots here.
Yeah. Imagine me having my little vulture droid list out. I'll be dead happy right in the middle by all of those asteroids. It'll be like Christmas for me.
I could just imagine you having 2 vultures on those big obstacles in the middle there.
Oh yeah.
I'm just loving it, and I'd just be there like, oh, not again. I remember that from last time.
With the energy shell charges as well.
Oh, they are so good. They really are good. I did not expect them to be as powerful as they were, but they're definitely worth it.
Oh gosh, yeah. Even with having to recharge them, they are hugely worth it.
Ooh, and I think that we can't quite see it there, but that was not a bump into the back of Luke there from Red Squad Veterans, so that was a great 2 forward there.
That was a good move.
There's the 5k from Jake. So getting himself prepped to keep an eye on those Phantoms when they come back in. And there's that 2 forward that I said to clear that stress.
Yes, I suppose that's sensible because they'll still be in the middle amongst where all the action is hopefully going to be.
Yeah. Interesting. Looks like I was debating cloaking there. Yes, so I'm cloaking him. So, trying not to lose the Sigma Squadron there. So, when you cloak, you get 2 additional evade dice, but it does mean that you cannot shoot. So, aiming to try and keep him around a little bit longer. And Red has also moved himself into a particularly interesting position. So, will I cloak with Red as well? Yeah, so double cloaking there, electing to not have shots, but also trying to survive the next round of shooting. And a bump there from Rampage. Trying to see what maneuver he was trying to do. So he's applying 2 strain onto Luke there. Hoping to capitalise on there and get a shot in on him. That would be pretty good. Unfortunately, I'd be very surprised if he manages to survive this next round. With a wedge from behind and a Luke in front, I think we might be seeing the last of Rampage here, unfortunately.
Oh. Yeah, 2 X-Wings at pretty much range 1. It's not really a spot I would be happy to be in if I was Rampage.
Yeah. Ooh, that's not so bad. Wedge is turned off, so Wedge will not be shooting at Rampage, so that is a bonus there. I was going to say 4 dice at range 1 with a negative evade would not be good. So 3 evade dice for Red there versus 4 dice. Hopefully that's going to pan out exactly as we want. Oof, I like that. Fergus's dice betraying him a little bit, and my dice, yeah.
Yeah, you did good.
That wasn't too bad. I'm just having a look at a bit of future planning there with Green and trying to work out if he's going to be able to actually, at the moment, I don't know if he'll be able to decloak, because I think Rampage is too far back.
Yeah, I think you'd be bumping.
Yeah, and when you decloak, you can't bump. If you were in a position where you can't complete it, you don't do it. So hit crit from Luke. And that's hit crit on Rampage.
Oh.
And the crit is... waiting for it to pop up on the overlay. Stunned pilots. So that means that the only actions I will be... oh no, that's after you execute a maneuver. If you moved through or overlapped an obstacle, suffer 1 hit. But will it mean anything?
Oh.
Jake, that's another damage on Rampage. So plus side, Rampage is going to get a shot now.
Go on, see if you can take off Wedge.
Yeah. No.
Oh no, you can't take off Wedge. Wedge is next to you.
Wedge is next to me. See if I can cause some damage on Luke. So, have I got anything? It looks like there's 1 ship at range 2, so I do get a calculate. So it'll be a range... I'm assuming a range 1 shot in on Luke. Would make the most sense.
Going at Luke.
Yeah, go range 1
Yeah.
Luke. I mean, he's got the strain token as well, so it's 3v1. I have a calculate, so hopefully I can cause quite a bit of damage. 3 hits.
Nice.
Lovely jubbly. All 3 hits, all going through. So that's a shield and 2 damage. That is much better than I was expecting.
That was good.
That really paid off there. So that gets Luke down to half points.
And the points on the board are really close now as well.
Yeah, they have closed up quite drastically, which is quite nice. They might open up a little bit here, though, because we do now have the Red Squad veteran taking his shot, 3 dice with a focus, and bye-bye Rampage.
Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch.
Just to see, there we go. I got a focus, so spend the calculate on it. Why not? So that's the final damage there on Rampage. So to be honest, I think he did a fairly good job.
Yeah, especially to half point Luke as well. That was still really, really good.
I think he did most of the work on Wedge as well, to be honest. So,
quite good.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I still think that the TIE Brute is an absolutely fantastic ship and definitely good fun to fly. The model is really cool as well with the actual rotating guns on it.
Yeah.
It's just such a cool ship. But on the plus side, it does now mean that should Green want to, he can decloak now.
Yeah, that's still a bonus, so that's quite good.
Although looking at this, it's not looking great at the moment. It's definitely very much in Fergus's favour. I mean, if I get some good shooting, I can get Luke and Wedge down, but they get to shoot first, which is annoying.
Yeah. 4 ships against 2 is always going to be scary. However, the Phantoms are still good ships, and those 2 are still undamaged.
Yeah. And they are quite manoeuvrable. If they can manage to line up Deadeye's shot as well, against Luke and Wedge, that is going to be incredibly powerful because it could trigger some quite nasty stuff in there. I mean, we've seen from the game against Quinn where I used this list with Deadeye's shot and how powerful that combination can be. It still kind of surprises me that it's only a 1-point upgrade card, although if anyone is listening, I'm happy for it to stay at 1 point. Please don't put it up. But I do think it is a very good 1-point upgrade card, and it's been featured in quite a few of the packs recently, which I quite like. It's kind of a nice alternative to some of those other low point talent cards. So there's the decloak from Green going the 2 forward. And same from Red there. Given the position they're in, unfortunately, it was going to be quite obvious that they were going to be going in that direction. So it'd be interesting to see if Fergus has read that and what he's going to do to counteract that. Oh, cheeky little short jump in there from Jake. What action is he going to do you reckon? Oh, barrel roll.
Yeah.
Trying to keep that arc open there. So now we get to see what the Phantoms are doing. Cater, nice.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think that in the position that they were in, the K-turn does make sense. Gets them a little bit further out, hopefully out of arc of a few other things. I think Jake is just out of range of Red there, but Green does have a fairly nice shot in on Jake, depending on where Luke and Wedge end up. So, I mean, Luke could be quite a nice little target there. And Luke has just spent one of the charges from his ion torpedoes to regain a shield there.
That is quite handy.
It's sneaky. It's sneaky is what it is. But, I mean, this is a fairly good position to be in. I think at most Green might be taking 2 shots. I don't think Red's going to get shot. So if they can capitalise on this position and focus fire down on Luke, that could just do it, but it's going to be tough. So range 2 coming in from Luke onto Green. Oh, that's not... Oh, target lock. Didn't see that there. I was going to say it wasn't a great roll. That was a much better roll. So 2 hits and a crit, so that's definitely a shield down. What, 2 shields down on Green? Oh, spending the evade, so 1 shield. Again, Green's stressed, so... And I think at the moment they're in a nice position that you probably don't... That decloaking might not be the best option.
Yeah.
Although, again, hindsight, look at it. There could have been some sneak... Oh, that was just outside. There could be some sneaky position that Green could have got if he had a decloaked ship left and then done a big manoeuvre in, like a 3 hard round. We're going to go with the range 3 from Red into Luke first.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Hit crit.
It's not bad.
I like it, but Luke does have 2 force. And he's going to spend 1 of them. That's annoying. Would have been nice to have taken out that shield, because then he wouldn't have been able to get himself back over half. Oh.
Range 1.
Oh, yeah. Do you range 1 Jake, or do you... I'm not sure if that was the right option. I mean, 4 dice on Jake, yes, but he's got a focus. I think I should have gone for Luke. What I was saying earlier about focus firing, I think I've made a mistake there.
That's still a really good roll, though.
Oh, it's still a really good roll, and it's a shield off Jake, but that would have been a shield off Luke, meaning he definitely wouldn't be able to get himself back over half. I think I made a mistake there.
Yeah.
I think I should have gone for Luke. I mean, do you agree, or do you think when you've got a range 1 on a ship like Jake, you've got to take it?
I personally love the range 1 shots. However, yeah, I do agree. I think taking out Luke would have been, or at least getting that shield off him rather, would have been a much better shot.
Yeah.
Especially when he doesn't have any green tokens. I know he has the force, but he's only got 1 force.
He would have regained 1 and had 2. So we missed the shot from the Red Squadron vet there. I wish we had missed it, because that's the final shield down on Green there. But yeah, it's getting a lot trickier now for me, unfortunately. I mean, those X-Wings are in a nice position just to sort of turn in at my Phantoms. I think looking back at this, I think that initial turn-in move I did was too early. I think I should have tried to have led the X-Wings around a little bit more and tried to flank them with like the maneuverability that I have with these ships. I mean, you've got the candy cane sort of maneuver where you do like the decloak and then the 1 hard, which is just really cool. And I think I've missed a trick by not utilising that. Do you think you'd have done something similar, or what do you think you might have done?
Difficult to say because, of course, this is a ship that I still haven't flown yet. I think the flanking might have been a good idea. However, I know the X-wings can be quite slippery to go against and maneuver themselves a little bit better. Out of it, yeah. I'm not too sure.
I think X-wings can actually be quite tough to come up against. I know they're sort of like the bog standard ship in the game when you think about it, but they've got some really good pilots in there, and they are a really solid ship. And sometimes it can just be quite tricky to go against them. Oh, so going outside there. That's interesting. So because obviously Red is stressed, he does not get his evade token after decloaking there. Yeah, I think right now, main objective would be focusing. That's not a bump there either. So he's flying that red squadron really well, like getting it real close to that bumping. Yeah, I think for me, I need to take down Luke, and for Fergus, he just needs to get his kill box in, and hope that he's in a good position. Jake turning away there was interesting. He's going to undo that boost there because he landed on the gas cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was slightly surprised by Jake turning away there. As I said, obviously this is game 5 of the commentary wars, so we've still got 5 more games to come after this for the initial group stages, and then the top 4 will move on to semi-finals, so hopefully we'll be able to get those out to you guys soon. Table is obviously looking quite interesting. Amy is sat at the top of the table with her solid victory from game 1 with those super aggressive interceptors.
Although you've nicknamed them the Quinterceptors.
True. I mean, 5 interceptors, Quinterceptor, yeah, it works. It's a shame that Quinn doesn't actually fly Empire, so he'll never actually put that on the table. That's a bit of a meaty face-off there. Luke, range 1 at the Sigma Squadron, so that's going to be tricky. And there is the final charge spent. Luke now has his shield back, and that means that Luke is now over half points. Bye-bye all of my points that I'd hard earned there. So yeah, again, if I'd have shot at Luke earlier, I think I would have had a better chance of keeping those points on the board. And right now,
yeah,
I think I'm about to lose green. Because I'm not sure. Wedge, I think Wedge has... Wedge might just clip green. If not, he'll obviously take a shot in at red. And then I think... Can everything target red? Everything bar Jake could hit red, so Fergus could just full on go for red here. Which, yeah. I know, so that is Wedge is going in on green, going to try and see if he can delete him. So that's 2 hits and a crit. Spending the evade. Let's see what that crit is then. And the crit is a direct hit.
Ouch, that's not what you want.
No, that's not what I want at all. So the odds have now gone very badly for me. Yeah. That was not good. I mean, Fergus has done very well. He's definitely taken his opportunities, and I think he's actually focused the fire in the right areas and just had a really strong game. And that is 2 damage going through, debating whether to spend the evade. Gonna go with no, so that's 2 damage going through, hoping to get the decloak in a minute. So, return shot back into loot. Can I get those half points back? I would very much like that.
Oh.
I think the one thing I've very much been missing with these phantoms in this game is a focus token. It would have been very handy there, so... Oh, Deadeye shot there, so triggering... And that wasn't particularly good. That looks like a weapons failure there, I believe.
Ouch.
So, oh no, structural damage, sorry. So, I mean, I probably would have preferred a direct hit. So it does mean he removes 1 green token there. And that is 2 more damage. So I do get him back to half. But he could have been dead by now if I'd have taken that shot earlier.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to be honest, it wasn't too bad, but could have been better. And let's see what the Red Squadron can do when he actually gets into the action. Ooh. Debating it. Do I get myself down to 1, or do I try and keep myself a little bit healthier and get that decloak? Oh, it's really tough. Looks like taking the 2 damage, so that will be Red Sigma down to 1 hit point and a dream there.
He's brave. He's very brave.
Brave, foolhardy, hero of the Imperium, hero of the Empire. I don't know which one of those is the correct phrase. We shall probably find out within the next couple of minutes, because there's less than 14 and a half minutes on the clock, and I need to get a lot of damage in. I think it's pretty safe to say that Fergus has got this in the bag. It's just now how many points can I claw back out of this?
But then again, you never know. There have been many games where somebody has won with 1 ship left and 1 hull remaining, so you never know.
Yeah, I mean, in video games, when your health is that low, you actually have more than you think. Unfortunately, this, we know exactly how much health he's got, so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, if I do pull it off, amazing. But I think that given how well Fergus has flown and how well he's been able to react to what I've done, I hate to say it, I'm pretty sure he's got this in the bag, and I will say, fair play, Fergus, you've flown this really well. So, I mean, he's had some good games on the channel. I know he had a bit of a tricky one against James in the first round. But even then, he still flew very well, and it was just when James's support ships came in, they just caused a lot of damage very quickly. So, with one hit point, Amy, how do you win then from here?
Hope and pray for a miracle, I think.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it was a good fun game. And it's just fun to fly Phantoms. You really need to try it, Amy. I genuinely think you need to get that Phantom on the board and try it out.
Well, you're going to be proud of me because in true woman form and being able to multitask, I have literally, whilst commentating, made and I'm going to give it a go one day.
Okay.
So yeah, this has been a really, really fun game to watch, and I've made a list to fly.
Okay.
So,
well, I look forward to seeing that list. As I said, the Phantom is a great ship. I do hope that we get. Obviously, at the moment we don't know what's happening, but I do hope that some of the other ships get those reprints that they were talking about, and that maybe they do some card packs to bring some new pilots in there, because I think maybe we could get some more interesting things on the Phantom. I know there's a few other ships that a lot of people would say could do with some updates to their pilots. You look at the K-Wing, could do with something. Maybe the TIE Aggressor needs a bit of tweaking in there. I can't think of any of the other ships at the moment that might need tweaking, but those 2 for definite could look at having something in there. Maybe we even see some more stuff for the Lambda. I mean, I was actually talking with Quinn today, saying about what ships we'd like to see some reprints for, and not only that, what could they do with those ships? And I was thinking, if they reprinted the Lambda and maybe had some way that the turret, like the cannon on the back, had like a little ball arc in it so that it could move, would be quite cool. Although you've already got the opening and closing wings, so. But yeah, there's still obviously a lot of ships that still need to be reprinted. I don't like that positioning where the Phantom is right now.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, there's still a lot of ships that we still need to get reprinted. Some of them mainly just so I can actually get hold of them, like the big Resistance bomber. I still don't actually have one of those, so I'd like to see a reprint of that just so I can get one.
I have to admit, of ships to go against, the Resistance bomber is my arch nemesis.
Oh, fair enough.
They're really, really good fun to fly against. It's just, I think it's more the fact that they're just so tanky.
Yeah.
And the fact that they can put a trajectory simulator on and launch bomblets and random things like massively forward. I have to admit, I've never actually managed to take one down. Ever.
I've not actually ever flown against one. I've just seen them across the room with other people flying them. But I mean, you talk about trajectory sim. You've got the TIE Punisher that you can stick trajectory sim on.
Yeah,
it's good fun. But with that, guys, he's gone. It's over. A solid victory there for Fergus. So very well done there, buddy. Really good game. It's always tough to fly against Fergus. He's a fairly good player, and he really did that well. But let's have a quick look and see where we're at with the points in the tournament at the moment. So this is how it's looking at game 5. So everyone actually has a win apiece there. So very solid victory for Fergus, getting a huge amount of MOV. And looking at the table after that, unfortunately, Amy, it looks like Fergus has sneaked out top spot from me there. Small points margin though, but we've got Fergus on 503 points. Amy, you're second there with 484. Quinn on 366, James on 364, and myself trailing a little bit at the bottom there on 282 points. But we're only 5 games in, 5 more games to go. Anything can happen. So it's going to be really interesting to see where it all goes from there. But Amy, I just want to say thank you very much for joining us in commentating this game. I hope you learned a lot about the Phantoms, and hopefully we will see them on the board very soon from you.
Yes, definitely. Thank you very much for having me again and educating me a bit more about the Phantoms. I'll definitely be flying them very, very soon. As I've just said, I've just made up another list for him, so I shall definitely be fielding him at some point.
Perfect. Well, we look forward to seeing that hopefully on the channel. But that's it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell to know when our next video is coming up. Like I said, we've still got 5 more games for the group stages here, so plenty left to come. But guys, we will see you again next time.